Hi everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic week. In this video I'm going to show you how to create a colouring book that you can upload to KDP. If you'd like to see the process, then stick around. So there are a couple of different ways that you can create a colouring book. You can obviously draw the pictures yourself, or you can use AI to help you. Today I'm going to be using AI to help me in this process, and my preferred AI software is Midjourney. Midjourney have made a few changes now. You don't need the Discord service. If you've been with Midjourney and you have over 1,000 or you've generated over 1,000 images, then you can just use their site online. So you'll notice that's a bit different from my last video. So if you're new to Midjourney, yours might look a little different to the one that I'm using today. And in a later video, I'll take you through the new alpha version of Midjourney that you can use online. So this is going to be potentially a longer video, so make sure you go and grab yourself something to drink so you can watch along. So let's jump over to the computer and I'll show you how you go about creating a colouring book. So first things first, I'm going to go into Canva and I'm going to set up the template that I am going to use for my colouring in pages. So I'm going to create a design and a custom size design, and I create my colouring in books in the 8.5 by 11 format. So I'm going to come down here to inches and change that to 8.5 by 11 and create my new design. In my colouring books I usually place about 30 images. I find that just keeps the cost down a little bit, and that's my own personal preference, so around about 30 images. So I'm going to need 2 pages. So this first one's going to be the title page. So I'm just going to put the title here. This is going to be a landscapes colouring book. And I'll just leave that there for now. I'm going to add a page, and this next page is going to be my, I'll just copy and paste that in. So this is just going to be, I'll just put all the information. And then the next page that I add in, this will be the first colouring page. So they're the first 2 pages. You've got your first page, you turn it over, there's some author information, and this is where my very first image would be. When I do my colouring in pages, I also put them in a border. So I'm going to create the border here now. So just using the square shape, I'm going to come up and create my border, and leaving enough distance there so it sort of sits on the page. Centered, yep. And then up here I'm going to go to this symbol, which is talking about your border style. So this is where you can create your border weight. Now at the moment all I can do is I've got a big square that I can just change colour in, but I want to actually have the inside white and the border. At the moment it has no border, that's why there's a 0 there. So let's make it a border of maybe 2. Now you'll notice I've got this symbol here because it talks about the border colour now. I'm going to come over here and then I can make that white, and then that will leave the border. So that's how you go about doing that in Canva. Now I'm also, yes, I will keep it black. I had been moving towards a grey. I might just bring this in just a little bit more. But I don't know that I actually like the grey. You could go like a darker grey. And what I mean is, when people go to colour in the pages, do they want big black bold lines, or do you want grey lines where you can define them yourself? I'm interested to know that, so if you want to answer that question, you can pop that in the comments for me. What do you prefer to colour with? Now to make this process really easy, when I come back with the pictures, I'm going to go back into elements again and scroll down here to frames, and I'm going to put a frame inside it, because what this will mean later on down the track is when I have all my images uploaded, I can just drop them straight onto this frame, and I don't need to fiddle around with any of the matching and bringing them in right up to the borders or anything like that. So I'm just going to make sure that the border's showing. So I've zoomed in to do this. You get a little bit more movement with your images if you zoom in a little bit, especially if you're doing finicky little things like this. Alright, so there's my frame. Okay. And what I mean by the drawings, so let's say, I'll just go into uploads. Say it's one of these. I can just bring it across and then drop it. Now obviously that's not going straight to the border because that already has a border, so let's go down here to something else. There you go. And then I can drop it there, and then I don't need to worry about fiddlings. It's going to be perfectly sized for what I need it to. Now the next page is going to be black. The Amazon books, when they are printed, they're printed on 100 GSM paper, which is about the same paper weight as copy paper that you'd put through your printer at home. So it's that sort of paper. Ideal for colouring with pencils, gel pens, that kind of thing. Textures will work, but they'll bleed through. Alcohol markers would absolutely bleed through, so you'd have to be really careful, but pencils should be fine. And this idea of having the black page at the reverse is just so that you don't see that unsightly bleed through if you are using that. And for the customer, if they are using these books, then they might want to put something in between pages if they're going to opt to use something like an alcohol marker. Right, so that's the kind of setup there. So I'm just going to go down here. You'll see me down here to the grid view. So you'll have your front page, bit behind it, the first image, and then the black. So I want to duplicate this. So I'm just going to highlight both of them and go Control Copy, click off, and then just Control Paste. And I want to paste 60, I want it to go to 62 pages, so I'm just keeping an eye on the page count down here. We're up to 40, so it'll need to be, let's go 64 pages, and I can always delete one later. So now I have got the template set up that's going to take my landscape pictures, and this is going to be the interior for my colouring in page. Okay, so I'm going to come up here. I've called it the Landscapes Colouring Book. I would call it the interior. It's obviously taken that first thing that I wrote here and typed here. So now we have the interior. Now it's time to look at getting the images for this particular book. Now I'm in Midjourney. So when you go to midjourney.com and you have an account and you sign in, if you, like I said, if you're one of those people who have generated over 1,000 images since you have had an account with Midjourney, you have the option to use this desktop environment now instead of having to go into the Discord server. So I won't get into all of the details of this. I'll do that in a later video. So for now, you can see I've just generated here, and this is the prompt I've used, colouring page for adults, illustration filled with flowers, and it's given me a few different options here. So I can click on there and I can have a look. There's a lot of grey in that one. There's lots of little bits in here. So these are looking okay. Don't mind that one. So I'm going to use this prompt again. So here it says TU, so I'm just going to use that. Colouring page for adults, illustration. I'm just going to put in landscape. Landscape. I do know how to spell, but you wouldn't think so when I'm typing. I don't know what you guys go. Alright, so here it is generating. So I should have 4 images when it has gone through and done its creation. While it's doing that, I might just jump across here because I did have in my working on folder, I do have some landscapes that are in here. So just have a look here for a second. So here are some of the landscapes that I've generated through Midjourney, and you'll notice that these ones have got that real grey, like this idea of anyone colouring over that, it's probably going to be really frustrating for that person. So this is what Midjourney has generated. So I've just gone ahead and I've done a few of those, and then they have to go through another process that makes them a little bit better for colouring in. So I'll just close out of that. Hang on, my recording software is over the top. I'll just go back to here because I have taken them through another website which has changed them up and made them more, made them better for colouring. So let's have a look, for instance. So this, whilst this still has a lot of grey areas, it's much better. That one turned out really quite well. There's something weird happening with the windows here. Really check out your images, guys, if you are generating with AI. Here's a fence that's just going whoop. So it might take me 3 times as long to get images because I really do want to take care what I choose. I just want to slap anything into a book and sell it to someone, because a bad review is never a good review, is it? So there's some examples of some there. That was a little whimsical one. Some not so much. They had all the weird things. So there might be some editing required on some of those, but that just gives you an idea of what I've got already. So let's pop back into where we were. How did we go? Alright, so there we go. We have image 1, image 2, it's quite cute, image 3, my perspective's out a little, and image 4. So let's see. For the purposes of this video, let's choose number 1. Alright, so let's get back out of that. Let's go to this one, and over here I'm going to hit download the page. Now, after I have downloaded that page, I am going to select a piece of software that I use. Okay, so that piece of software is called Picture to Line Drawing. And I'm going to browse and find that picture in my downloads. There it is. And I'm going to convert that. And it's converted that for me into a downloadable file. So this is called Picture to Line Drawing. It is on a site called Data Chef. You go to Image and Filters, Line Drawing, and then it will give you this. I'm going to download that. And then the next site that I will need to go to is one that's called Vectorizer AI. And this is a paid one, so for pricing, so you're already subscribing, so you can pay for credits, you can switch the plan, and you'll get a certain amount of credits to take images through, or you can pay by the month. So either or, just depends on whether or not you are using it enough to warrant a monthly one, or whether or not you just want to pay for credits and use them as you go. So that's the pricing. There are other vectorizer web-based programs out there that you can use. This is the one that I like to use. So I'm going to pick an image to vectorize. That one is going to be the line drawing that was just made, which is this one, I think. Let's open that up. Yep, I was right. And what this is doing is turning this image into a vector, which means that the lines themselves will become bolder and will not pixelate once zoomed in. So if I zoom in now, you'll notice that those lines are now quite sharp. Okay, it's a busy little picture, this one. And I would download again. And once that is downloaded, then you would come into Canva and you would upload your image. And at this stage it's now 9 megabytes, so it's quite large. So that will get uploaded into the software. And then you can click and you can drag it across, and you can see that the aspect ratio of this one is not 2:3, which is what I normally save them at. This one here is It's just the tiled one straight out of Midjourney. If you bring it over, the frame that you use on this page actually does a great job of sizing it for you. So I don't do anything, I can just drop. So that's been a real great progress. I'll just zoom into that one. All right, now I'm just going to check this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just download this as a JPEG. Now I don't want to download all those pages, just this one, and I'm going to print it and I'm going to show it to you so you can see what that actually looks like. Okay, so I'll just download that. Just turning my printer on. I'll get the camera. Okay, so here's the print. That's what it looks like. Okay, so there's the printed colouring in page. Let's zoom in. Let's get a bit closer with the camera. Okay, so it's not too bad. Is it colourable? Well, we can always test that out, can't we? So you can, if you want to, print and go. I just wanted to have a check of this one just to make sure the lines come up. There are some areas like this tree, for example, that does have, it's not a very defined sort of colouring in piece, but you probably just use blocks of colour anyway, depending on how you colour in. But this does not look too bad as a colouring in piece. The other options that you have in Canva, we just jump across back there again, you can make some adjustments here. So you could brighten it up a little bit. So it's not really doing so. I think we've got it as pretty much as good as what it can get. Just based on there. I've got the grandkids coming over today. I might get them to see if they can colour it in. Whether they enjoy that one. So that could potentially be page number 1. So I did that quite quickly. So what I would need to do then is to go back through that process. And I wouldn't do it like this for each individual one. I would do a bulk. So I would be over in, so what I would do is generate all my images in Midjourney and save them to a folder in my downloads. So that's the very first thing that I would do. And then with images in my downloads, if I had a whole bunch of them, like I do here for the landscapes, so then I would run all of these through the picture to line. I take all my images through this process. Once I had done that, I would then skip across here to Vectorizer AI and I would vectorize my images. Then in Canva, I would upload all of those images and then drop them in. And then I would actually have a really good look and make sure that I was happy with those images, and delete those ones that I wasn't and put in other ones that I am happy with. So I'm just going to run through now and put the images that I have into this colouring in book and see what it's looking like. Okay, so here we are. I've laid out all the pages now. For my first page, I usually just have the title of the book. I'm going to call this one the Landscapes Colouring Book, and I put one of the images in behind, and I just set the transparency. I just bring that down a little bit so it's sort of faded in. On the second page, I have just a copyright label, the name of my pen name, and also links to my blogger, and that they can see me on YouTube as well. So, and then I have got the pages laid out, so I'll just show you. So these are all the images that I had that I took through online, and I do not need page 63 and 64, so this is going to be a 62 page book. There are 30 images all up. They look okay, so they're all there to go. So once you have all of the images down, then the next thing you'll need to do is come up here and share, and you go download, and you want to share them as a, or sorry, download them as a PDF print. this is the best for printing. So that's the one you select, and then you hit download. I don't need a color profile. This is I will show you CMYK, but it's not necessary if you don't have color. I'm going to download those, and then I'm going to come across and work on the, I don't know if you've seen these, you probably have. They've been around being advertised to near death everywhere on the internet, and for good reason. But they are a set of cards. There's 100 there's 2 boxes, and it's filled with a number of cards in each box, so you can see how many are in there. And on each card you've got a color combo that goes with one of the pictures here, and on the back it has the hex codes that go with each of those. So for every color that there is, there's use of a hex code, what's called a hex code. You might be able to see that there. Okay. I actually use these to help when it comes to finding a theme, a color theme for covers for the books that I have. So if you pull out some of these, you can flick through and see if there's a color theme that might pop out that you can use. Now, I've got the landscaping book, as you know, that I've been working on. So I could come up with a landscape cover. I don't mind this one. I get those sorts of colors. So I'll just pull out a few, because when you go into Canva, you can put the hex key in and it will give you some ideas. So you can use these cards. You can, if you are using AI, you can put in like an example of a hex card, and it might even pop out a color for you. This is quite nice. I don't mind this one here. So that's turquoise, steel blue, dark blue, Kelly green, and camel. So I think a few of my books have got that real blue hue to them. So I might just play around with some of the colours on these 2 cards for the cover. So I try not to spend too much time. I know for those of you who are experts out there thinking you just take your time and, you know, look at colours and be picky and all that kind of thing. Well, sometimes I am picky, but I think sometimes I just overwhelm myself and I need to stop being so picky and just get on with the job. And you know what? If I make something in Canva and the colour isn't quite right, I'll find another colour. I'll find another colour then. But at least pick some, slap them on the document, and then if you don't like them, you can always change them up later. So I'm going to head back now, and I'm going to show you the cover that I'm going to make for this colouring in book. And I am using I use a similar sort of template for all the covers. I try to maintain some consistency because they're part of a series of books that I do on KDP. So the style of the cover remains the same. What changes are the colours and the images that I use. Now here I have my Geo Floral pattern cover, so I'm going to just open that up because this is the one I'm going to edit. So all my covers have got this same layout, and I'm going to do the same for this one here. So this is going to be called, I'm going to call this one obviously the landscape adult colouring in book. I might make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, but not going to go too big because everything here is lined up in a way that it is not going to, it's going to be in the right layout for uploading into KDP. So obviously I don't need this picture, this one, this one, this one, or this one. And I don't like these, don't need those. And I did show you the cards that I had. So let's use some of those colours, shall we? So I might go with a, well, let's try, we'll put them in. So up here where it says colour, you go plus, and then you add those numbers in. So C5, 9, E6, 3 is camel. So let's do that one. And then we have Kelly green. So maybe Kelly green down here. So again, you do have to punch these in individually. So 4, 9, B6, 4, 1. Enter. Okay, dark blue and steel blue. We might do a few changes here. So we've got dark blue, maybe this one here. I'll have a play with these. Once these colours are in, they'll be available. I can muck around with them a bit more. So 0, 4, 3, D82 is that one. Steel blue 0575B7. This turquoise is 3A DAF4. Right, now I can have a little look to see what might fit, what might not fit. I think that the back I might do turquoise. I'll bring that one in to be more of that. This could be the camel, maybe some camel there. The title can be the darker blue, and then I've got this pink design here, so let's take that out. We'll make that one the dark blue. This can be a green. I wonder if that can be green. What would that look like? It's not as, make that a little bit bigger. Okay, let's bring in some of the images. So I'll just go to where I've had them uploaded and I'll choose one that I'm going to use for the front cover. So let's go with, let me see. I want to choose one that complements the cover well. What's that one? No. Not so much. This is the hardest bit actually. That's not too bad actually. I might leave that one there. I can hear my cat scratching around here. Probably not that one. Probably not that one. Oh, this is going to be hard. So maybe put that one over here. I can cut it a little. No. Nope. Maybe that one. And bring that in a little. That could work. Now if it's in front here like this, you just need to click on that, go to position, here to layers, and then you can drag that one down so it's in behind. Oh, what's my 26 doing over there now? Hang on a second. I must have hit that by mistake. Now it's not quite underneath that white bit, so let's bring it down one more. There we go. Alright, that's not too bad. And then I'll need to put some more here. So these ones are square, so I'll go back to where I've got the others. And I'll just pick a couple of these to put on the back for anyone who's wanting to know what it looks like. And I can bring this in a little bit. So I try to keep this pretty similar, and I guess anyone who does tend to pick up these books will kind of get to know. There we go. Now it needs something else in terms of a little bit of texture. So when I do that, I usually go to elements and just search up textures. So maybe natural textures, and see all, and try and choose something that might be a bit interesting. for the background. So something like that, for example. If we take that transparency down, you could even give it one of the colors if you wanted to. There we go. I'll bring the transparency back up again. And then set that position, back to position. There it is there. Bring it right back so that it's underneath everything. And then we want to copy and paste it so it's got two, so we bring that one over here. And play around with it. May not necessarily line up though, that's the thing. So maybe I might take that one out. This is a funny texture because it doesn't go right to the edge, so I might get rid of that. I'll try something else. Natural textures. Seal. What have we got? Wood. Yeah, wood could work. And I'll position that one down below everything. Maybe set that transparency down a little bit. That one down with that one. That's not too bad, and that will be right on the edge of the book anyway, so it won't matter too much, but need something down along here as well. So what have we got here? Probably not the same kind of thing. Maybe something along the lines of that, perhaps. So I'm just copying and pasting that one across. No, that's not going to work. Yeah. It's hard with things like this just to try and work out what to use. So you make things really large and just kind of get them down like that. And then bring it right to there. I can bring this down a little bit too with the sign. That'll allow you to see more of the colour. So that's kind of the process that I do when I'm, I give that a rounded corner actually. I think that looks a bit nicer. And maybe even a rounded corner on that one. I haven't had that on my other books, but I think that might look a bit better. And there are 30 designs in this book. We'll change that to 30. Alright, so that is going to be the cover of my Landscapes adult colouring book. And this time I'm going to share, download that, and it's going to be downloaded as PDF print. I'm going to choose CMYK, which is best for professional printing. I did a little bit of a short on this, it's on the channel, but RGB actually stands for red, green, black. Sorry. RGB stands for red, green, blue, and that's best for using on digital platforms because that talks about the pixels, the colours in the monitors and so on. CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow and black. The K from the black is there, and that's best for professional printing. That's what you would use if you're using your printer at home. That's why you normally have 4 different cartridges in the colors, and that's what you need to choose if something is going to be printed out on a printer. So we're going to choose that one. We've got all that, CMK, and download. So now on my, or in my downloads folder, I should have the interior, and very shortly, once this is finished downloading, it's just about done, I will have the cover as well, and they are the 2 files that I will need to upload in KDP. So this interior file is your manuscript file, and this one here is the cover file. Let's just open that one up. There you go, there's the cover file. And this one here is the interior. And there you have it. So that is the process that I use when I am putting together a colouring book using Canva. I found because I've already got the designs set up, it's a lot easier just to use that template. So I tend to stay using Canva for things like that. So there you are, guys. That's how I create a colouring book if I'm using AI to source the images for that colouring in book. And that's the process I use. I hope that you have picked up a few tips and tricks along the way. Sometimes when I upload the manuscript and I do the launch preview when you are uploading the book to KDP, it may say that they're expecting a certain file size. It's really good when you're uploading because it will, KDP does let you know if something's not quite right. If you do get a message that is like that, what you need to do is come back into Canva, and up here you'll see a resize and magic switch. If you click on that and then you go into custom size and you change up these settings. So for instance, if Amazon said, oh, it should have been 17.4 something, you would change that there, and then when you went and you did some changes, it will ask you if you want to continue, and then you would just say yes, update. So that's how you go about creating on resizing. At the moment this size should be fine because I know that I've uploaded this to KDP for my other books, so that should not be a problem. But that's how you would go in and resize any of your files, and you can do the same for the manuscript too if you had a problem with that. So I hope you have enjoyed the video today and that you have perhaps learnt something that I've shown you, or you might have some suggestions too that you might want to pop in the comments. So by all means do that. And I'm going to leave it here and do an upload. So thanks for sticking around and watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.